Good afternoon, everybody. Is it over here? I'm going to move it over a little bit. I think I have it in the wrong spot. I'm going to put it there. That's where I want to be. How y'all doing? Today is Saturday, or as I like to call it, Tambourine Day. I'm very excited for this. We get to cover some tambourine. So I put up a notification about the test day. I think I either misspoke in one of the videos or miswrote in one of the emails, but the plan was to have the next exam this coming Friday. I believe that would be the 10th of April. And I was, like I mentioned, notified by the university that that's our Easter break, and we need a break from having a break. So we can't give the exam, so we're going to have to move it to the Tuesday after that. So it's going to be Tuesday, what's that date? Let me look at my calendar, because I'm in my living room. That is the 14th, April the 14th. So we'll do the next exam April the 14th, and then that's going to push our final exam to actually during finals week. So we'll get that dialed up, and we'll all be good. Again, this chapter is bass drum, crash cymbals, triangle, which we've seen the videos of. We're going to do tambourine today, and then we have one more video we need to get, which is going to cover tam-tam, suspended cymbal, wood block, tempo blocks, a bunch of different things to kind of all put together. And then we'll have the test on that. Again, any questions, let me know. Hopefully you've all been checking out the questions, answering the 3 questions, posting those up. I've seen quite a few, so we're good to go. All right, so tambourine. So a tambourine that you want for your school has a head on it. All right, that's kind of an important thing. If it doesn't have a head, it's really not what you want to be playing in your concert band or in your orchestra. All right, headless tambourines are fine, they're great, but they're designed to be more of a pop or rock or jazz or whatever tambourine. Right? They're not designed for orchestral or concert playing. So you have to make sure you have a head on it. The head needs to be nice and tight. You can't have a loose, old, junky head. You need to make sure you have a nice, good quality head. This is an older tambourine of mine, and it's actually a calf head, which is great. This is a new one that I just bought, and this one has a plastic head, which is also great. Each one has pros and cons. The problem, we always used calf heads in the past. The problem with calf heads here in South Dakota is that basically from the end of April until about October, this instrument's unusable because the humidity is so high, it makes the head go down. In fact, even today, it's not that humid out and it's still cold, but the head is way more loose than it should be, way looser than it should be. It should be a lot higher in pitch, closer to the pitch of this head. All right, nice and high pitched. But that, so it's difficult to make this instrument work in the summertime, all right? And so when I bought a new instrument, I made a point to get a plastic-headed instrument because they sound just as good as these now if you get a really good quality plastic head, and I can use it year-round, and it's going to sound great, okay? So the type of tambourines that I would suggest, this is a Grover tambourine, same company that made the triangle that we did the other day. This is a Grover tambourine. This company is Black Swamp. So this is Grover. In fact, I've got the bag right here. Your Grover bag and your Black Swamp. Black Swamp makes great, great high-end auxiliary instruments, and they make snare drums too, but they're really, really nice. Black Swamps are great. They're a little on the pricey side because they're kind of pro-level instruments, but they're great. But the Grovers are also good. So any of these are good. I would avoid the Ludwig ones with the little tunable things on there. They don't sound all that great, and definitely you don't want to use your Orff instruments or whatever the dingly-dingly things without the heads. So you got to make sure you have a head on your tambourine. There are a ton of different types of jingles out there that you can choose from. So this is the one that's kind of your generic tambourine. These are German silver jingles. So when you're buying a tambourine, you'll see a list of about 20 different flavors of tambourines out there, mostly based off of the type of jingles. And you get German silver, that's kind of the generic go-to sound, okay? It's going to give you a nice tone. It's not too high, not too low, but it sounds good. Cheaper tambourines have like tin or some other just nasty smashed metal, and there's no resonance to them whatsoever. They don't give a nice flavor to it, okay? This, like I said, this German silver sounds great. This tambourine, I believe, is a combination of copper and phosphorus, so it's a combination of their different things. And I wanted something that had a very different sound from this tambourine. Okay, so I have two different sounds, and again, there's a multitude of sounds. You can even take these exact same jingles, and if you hammered them in a different way, they fit together in a slightly different way, and then you get, again, another different sound. But the German silver is kind of your go-to generic sound that you want to have on the tambourine. So you want to make sure you have a head, and you want to make sure that you've got jingles. These are both called double row jingles, right? So there's 2 rows of jingles. Some tambourines are single rowed, and there's just a single row of jingles that goes around. Get the double row, don't get the single row. They're going to be too soft. And if this is too loud, you take a rubber band, wrap it around the instrument, and isolate one set of jingles, and now you have a single row tambourine if you need something that soft, which you rarely do. So the double row jingles is what you want. These are set off a little differently than these. You can see how the way that they're situated, but they both are double row, so there's more jingles, bigger sound. So the book describes how to hit the tambourine, and his technique is a good technique, but it's a very unusual technique. It's based off the same mechanics, but the technique is different enough that I really don't want to use the way he talks about tambourine. I would go with what we're going to do, because this is basically what you're going to see all around the nation. Very few people play the tambourine the way he plays it. He shows it basically upside down, so you would actually hit it like that, as opposed to most people do the opposite and they hit it down. It's the same mechanic, but instead of coming, do that. And so I would rather not use that technique. It's good to know about it, but you almost never see that. I rarely see tambourine players using that anywhere in the world. So just like our triangle, we want to make sure we're holding the instrument at a 45-degree angle. Right? 45 degrees is going to really give us the best sound. If we hold it horizontally or vertically, we're going to get extraneous noises that we don't want. So here is completely vertical. There's a lot of extra sound after I hit it. Completely horizontal. That actually didn't sound too terrible. But 45 degrees is going to give us our best sound. Okay? I hold the tambourine backwards from most right-handed people. Most right-handed players hold it in their right hand and hit it with their left hand. I don't know why, but I will always held it in my left hand and I've hit it with my right hand. It doesn't really matter. The biggest thing is that most people can't shake roll with their left hand. I can't shake roll with my right hand because I didn't learn how to do that. I learned playing with my left hand. So my shake rolls are all done with my left hand, and I'm much more adept at that. So most right-handed players will hold it in their right hand at a 45-degree angle, hitting it with their left. I do the opposite. Doesn't really matter. That's just how I've always played. So holding it at a 45-degree angle, there's a spot where there aren't any jingles, right? So you have jingles all around. You have a spot where there are no jingles, and normally there's a hole there. You do not put your thumb in that hole. Never put your thumb in that hole. The moment you put your thumb in that hole, you're going to get it stuck, and then it's going to break. All right? Not the tambourine, but your thumb. All right, so don't put anything in that hole. What that's designed for is if I have to mount it, if I have to put this on a stand, I can take a cymbal stand and I can put it through there and I can clamp it and I can mount the tambourine so I can hit it with a stick if I need to. All right, we don't use that very often. So this is not designed to put your finger inside of. This instrument also has the whole same idea. You don't want to put your finger through that. And I can't even get my thumb really through that. I mean, there's no reason to put it through there. What you should be doing actually with your thumb is you put it on the top of the head, all right? We have a head, but we don't want it to resonate. We don't want that much resonance, especially with this head being so low in pitch. So I put my thumb on the tambourine, and it deadens the head, and in this case is going to bring the head up in pitch to closer to what I want. Okay, so my thumb is going to be on the tambourine. If you can, if your hand's big enough and the tambourine's small enough, you might put your finger on the inside. I typically just do this. I don't usually do this all that often, only because my hand's a little too small to do that comfortably. On this instrument, it's a little smaller, and you can do it, but I usually, again, just use my thumb. Some people, if they want to deaden it even more, they'll take a patch of moleskin. We've talked about moleskin in the past. And they'll put a big patch right there on the instrument. So again, deaden the head to get a little more dead sound. I don't usually do that. I like a little bit of head sound when I play. But I do put my thumb on it to kind of muffle it and to keep it a little bit right pitched. So, 45-degree angles, okay? And I'm going to hit it with my right hand. My normal beating spot, my normal mezzo forte general beating is I'm going to take my middle finger is going to be my beater, and I'm going to pick my thumb and I'm going to kind of support my middle finger with my thumb, all right? And I'm going to hit the instrument with the tip of my middle finger, and I'm not going to rebound. I'm going to push right into the head. All right, so I'm playing dead strokes into the head, not our free rebound that we did on snare drum. We don't want that sound, all right? We're playing like a Renaissance piece. That's the sound we want, but we don't want that for orchestral and band playing. We want it nice and dead. I'm going to play into the head. Again, holding it at a 45-degree angle. Okay, I'm just going to use my tip of my finger that note. Okay, so this is my mezzo forte, not too fast notes that I'm playing. Okay, now the trouble comes in if I have to play louder or I have to play faster, louder or softer or faster. Okay, so I have to change anything. So if I want to play loud and slow, I'm going to, instead of using the tip of my finger, I'm going to go to my knuckles. I'm actually going to use all of my knuckles, these part of my knuckles, into the head. I'm going to punch at the head. And you want to lay into the head, really sock it. But I'm going to use my knuckles right along the edge of my knuckles. I'm not using my hands so much, using more of my knuckles. Right? Nice big sound, all right? I always tell students to kind of pretend like they're going to break the head, all right? They really want to play into the head. This instrument is, I've had this for a long time, and I told the student she wasn't playing as loud as I'd like it to her, so I said, play into the head, try to break the head, and she ended up breaking the head, but it sounded good, and that's fine. You just replace the head, and this is a replacement head, so when I break this, I'll replace it again. It's not a big deal, but we don't want that coming out of the head like we would with snare drum. Okay, we actually want to play into the drum. So if I'm playing nice and loud, we use my knuckles, okay, nice and big. All right, so now if we have to play fast, I only have one hand. There's not a lot I can do. All right, any faster than that, and I'm kind of stuck. So to be able to play fast, we have to have a chair handy, all right? I use a chair. Chairs are great. Some people actually have a little, they take like an old beat up stand that's just really, really short, but anything that gets your foot up, okay? If you don't have a chair, in a pinch, and it's stupid, you can just take your hand, foot, leg, and you can kind of balance. If you can balance on one foot, put your foot up here, and you have your knee up here. But the best thing is to have a chair so you don't fall over, right? So I put one knee up, okay? Doesn't really matter which knee you do. I'm going to use my right knee. And this is kind of funny. So when I do this, I actually switch over to my right hand. All right. So I hold it in my left hand, but when I do this, I switch over to my right. So it's not a good technique. So don't do what I do. Do the right thing. Hold it in your right hand the whole time. All right. So to play fast and loud, I'm going to go back to our old sticking technique that we did with snare drum. Remember what that's called? The man who invented that sticking technique, Edward B. Strait, the Strait system. All right, I'm going to think about my knee being my right hand and my left fist being my left hand. Okay, so if I had to play 16th notes, 1 E and a 2, I'm going to go 1 E and a 2. All right, right, left, right, left, right. Again, using that straight sticking, right, left, right, left, right. All right, and again, I still want to hold it at a 45-degree angle. Okay, so I want to think about that 45, even though it's hitting my knee in my hand. The goal is that the knee should sound as close to the hand as possible, all right? Now, they're never going to sound the same because it's a knee and it's a hand. I don't have two hands, right? So they're going to sound a little different, which is why it's really important to adhere to that sticking policy, okay? So if I'm playing dum digga dum digga dum digga dum digga dum digga dum digga dum, 8th to 16th notes, 8th to 16th notes, I would stick it on snare drum, and you know this. Right, right, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right, right, left, right. Okay? So on this way, I'm going to stick it the same way. Right, right, left, right, right, left, right. Okay? And the reason we do that is that because the sound between going down and up are so different. All right? I try to get them as close as I can to be the same, but they're not. They're going to be different. So if I alternate, this is what it's going to sound like. Very odd, kind of tilting over, not very good. You can hear those pitches really come out. But if I play the right sticking, all right, it sounds a lot more consistent versus, or you can hear all those different oddities that come out of it, okay? So if I have to play loud and fast, I need my knee up on a chair, knee, knuckle, okay, again, keeping it at a 45-degree angle. I guess if I had actually learned this, I could have been holding it in my left hand and doing the same thing. But I didn't. I did it. Okay? All right. If we have to play fast and quiet, we still need the chair. We still need our leg up. But we change our technique a little bit. We put it on our knee or our leg, either wherever was comfortable. And then I'm going to put my arms on the instrument. All right, so my forearms are laying on this side of the instrument. My fingertips are on the other side of the instrument. And I'm going to play with my fingertips. The number of fingers is going to determine the volume. All right, so if I want to play really, really, really soft, all right, that's very, very soft. I want to play a little louder, I'll use 2 fingers. A little louder, 3 fingers. And then a little louder more, 4 fingers. Okay, so I can play really, really fast, really, really soft. Let me switch instruments. See how this one sounds. Same idea. Right on my knee. This is going to sound probably better. Okay, again, I'm trying to stay 45-degree angles. If I go completely sideways, you get a lot of extraneous sounds, all right, by keeping it 45. And I'm kind of keeping it together by keeping my forearms on here. If I didn't have my forearms, obviously the instrument would be falling all over the place, okay? By keeping my forearms there, okay, so you can keep it that way. So, fast and quiet. You want to be loud. We want to be knee and knuckle. Okay. So those are the variations. Now, generally, this instrument has one dynamic level when you play it normally. In other words, when I'm playing it like this, there's really nothing I can do dynamically to make it louder. Now, obviously that makes it louder. But if I want a crescendo or decrescendo, the way we get that out of this instrument is that we actually use height. All right? You're not going to hear it in the video because the reason we use height is that when I play down here, it's behind the bodies and the heads of the rest of the orchestra. All right? So I'm behind the trumpets, I'm behind the horns, whatever it is. And then if I bring it up, it comes outside and it's now exposed and it's going over the top of the heads of all the orchestra members. So the audience is going to perceive it as being louder. All right? So if I'm playing soft, I'm going to be down here. Just by raising it up, it's going to change the dynamic level. And again, you're not going to hear it in the video because there's no orchestra between you and me. All right, but that's how you get the dynamics when you want to change dynamics within one of those ways of playing. Whether it's well, I guess with your knee, you're not going to be moving it, just playing it, leaving it there. Okay. All right. Now let's talk about rolls. Rolling on this instrument. There's two main ways to roll on this instrument. The easiest is the shake roll. So all we do is we shake the instrument, rotating our wrist back and forth. All right. That's how we shake. All right. When I do that, I want to make sure I'm not spazzing out. Right? I don't want to go with the veins popping out of my arm. You want to be able to do it a relaxed way. You don't have to do it super fast. It's a fairly controlled, not super fast roll. All right. Now, when you do a shake roll, all shake rolls have to have a beginning and an end. All right. Every single shake roll has to have a beginning and an end. You can't just roll and stop, all right? Because when you do that, you hear how it's messy at the beginning and messy at the end, right? There's this transition when I'm rolling and when I'm not rolling. All right, so what we need to have is a real clear beginning and a real clear ending. So to do that, we hit the instrument in the dynamic that we're playing. So if I'm playing mezzo forte, mezzo piano, whatever, I'm going to use my fingertip, I'm going to hit it to start the roll, and then I'm going to hit it to end the roll. All right, so there's a beginning and there's an end. All right, now you hear the accent because we're just you and me in my living room, okay? But if there was an orchestra in between you and me, you would actually hear a really clear beginning and a really clear ending. All right, so here's now fortissimo. All right, so I'm using my knuckles to hit it, to start, and to stop it. All right, and the key is when you stop it, right, still at a 45-degree angle, but I'm coming down. You see me going up and down because I'm trying to get that volume, right? If I was playing mezzo piano, I might keep it here, all right, and I go quite so high. We use shake rolls for long rolls, probably half notes and longer, all right? If I'm rolling for a long period of time, I'm going to do a shake roll, all right? All right, so a nice long roll. If I'm doing a short roll, quarter note, half note, definitely eighth notes, we're going to do a thumb roll. Thumb rolls take a little bit of time to develop. It's kind of a breakthrough moment. I remember having my breakthrough moment. I couldn't thumb roll until I was an undergraduate. I was a freshman in college. I couldn't do it. And then all of a sudden one day I figured it out and I was like, whoa! The sky opened up and everything was great. I was thumb rolling on people's foreheads and banisters and all kinds of things, just really getting the practice of it. There's a student here at Vermilion High School, and she just learned a thumb roll, and now she's kind of the tambourine goddess of the department because she's the one who can thumb roll it. It's like no one else can do it as well as she can, and she's just got it all figured out. So it just takes some practice and like a breakthrough aha moment to thumb roll. So to do it, first of all, you need a sticky head. You need a head that has some sort of stickiness to it. So a lot of ways to get that. The traditional way is to take, this is beeswax, right? This is the tube of beeswax that comes with the instrument. You take that and you rub it on the head to make it nice and sticky. Beeswax works well. Rosin, the exact same rosin you would use, particularly bass bows, because bass bow rosin's a little softer than violin rosin. Bass rosin works well. This head, I've got a new thing that I tried. My kid went out to San Diego, and I went out with him. He was playing at a thing, and so I went to a surf shop, and I got some surf wax. So this is wax that you would put on your surfboard. Looks like this. And I put this on it, and this stuff is really awesome. Super cheap. I think this cost me $2 maybe, right? This is going to last me the rest of my life. I put it on the instrument, and that's why it's so gross looking. That's why all this, because I've been rubbing it all over it. And it's super, super sticky. Very, very, very sticky, which is great. This instrument I just bought, and I haven't put the stuff on it yet. I will, but it looks so pretty. I don't want to do it quite yet. So that is really, so surf wax works well. Can you get surf wax in South Dakota? I'm not so sure. San Diego, it was all over the place, right? But rosin and then beeswax, when you buy the instruments, usually it comes with that thing of beeswax that you can put that on there, and that works well. I would avoid doing sandpaper. Some people take sandpaper, you take a strip of sandpaper and you glue it on the head in kind of a semicircle thing. I would avoid that because what's going to happen is they're going to hurt their thumb. If they do a thumb roll, you do 2 or 3 or 4 thumb rolls on sandpaper, and you're now filing down your thumb, and you're going to get a blister. So I would avoid sandpaper as much as you can. But you need something, right? If you just have a slick plastic head like this head, is not going to work very well with a thumb roll. You can figure it out, but it's harder to make it work. So you hold it in your hand. Again, I hold it in my left. You can hold it in your right, but I do it in my left. You might want to moisten your thumb. Sometimes you have to, sometimes you don't. With this surf wax, I don't have to, which is nice. But sometimes I'll lick my thumb, or if I'm in a performance and I'm hot and I'm sweating, I just touch my hand and I get all the perspiration from my hand. So what I'm going to do, putting my thumb on the instrument, and I'm going to push in a little bit, and then I'm going to push it forward. And what's going to happen is it's stuck. It's not going to move, and then it's going to get free for a second, and skip forward, get restuck, skip forward, get restuck. That's going to happen hundreds of times as I go around the instrument. All right, I don't know if you can see that. All right, so it's in the instrument, it's stuck, it gets unstuck, moves a point, moves, happens hundreds of times as you go around the instrument. Now the cool thing about the surf wax is that now it's on my thumb. Now my thumb is actually sticky, and you may have even heard when I was playing, you can hear that stickiness, for better or for worse. That may be a little obnoxious, but at least it's sticky, right? So I can thumb roll really, really easily on this thing. All right, so when we thumb roll, same idea. We want beginnings and ends of rolls, right? So if I'm doing a roll, let's say it's a half note long, 1, 2, 3. That was actually bad. Sorry. There we go. So a beginning to the roll, and I just start the roll with a nice accent with my thumb. And then when I end the roll, the way I do it, everybody's a little different. I'll actually twist my hand around, and I'll do a note with my middle finger. All right? Now, if I'm playing something that's fast, you can actually take a snare drum solo, right? Any sort of snare drum thing, and you can play it on here. If I have to do a lot of notes, I may not do the accent at the end. All right, so I'm just doing a snare drum solo. All right, and I'm just doing all the rolls with my thumb, okay? And I don't have time to, all right, it's a little obnoxious to actually do that, so I don't have to. But if you're doing a normal thumb roll, or you want a beginning and an end to that roll. You could even do a knuckle if you want a louder sound, but you need to make sure you have a beginning and an ending, because if I just roll and then don't have a beginning or an ending, all right, there's kind of a vagueness to when it ends, so you kind of want to make sure you have the beginning and the end. So the shake roll and the thumb roll. two ways to do rolls on the instrument. Okay? All right. I believe that is all we need to talk about with the tambourine. I think that's the meat of what we're doing. So, let's do the 3 questions. Question number 1. At what angle should you hold your tambourine when you're playing? Number 2. What kind of tambourine should you buy for your band? Bonus question. Put this in there. What kind of jingles? All right, what kind of tambourine and what kind of jingle should you have from that tambourine? And number 3, what common item should you have handy when you're playing the tambourine? All right, what should you have nearby that's going to help you play the tambourine? All right, it's really, really important. So, all right. I think that's it. I think that's all we need to talk about the tambourine. All right, so we've got one more video to do, which we'll get done within the next couple of days here. I have to go over to school for that. And I hope you guys are all staying safe. I hope everybody's doing well. And I will see you when I see you. All right, thanks a lot.